Hello lovely people, today I want to show you this big box. So some of you might already know what's in the box, some of you probably don't. So can you guess what can it be in this massive box? The thing is I received it a few days ago and I had to keep it in the car because I don't have any space at home. Look at that! I'm so happy. Okay, let me take it out and I'm gonna show you what we have here. There we go, all in its glory and beauty. So for those that don't know, I had an FI315 IB, which was the version 2 of the infinite baffle subwoofer. This is an infinite baffle manifold. It breathes outside, and this is an upgrade that I decided, like, okay, so let's go back. Quite a while ago, probably half a year or so, out of nowhere, a company popped up called One Audio. And since I saw the One Audio, I was like, I have to have that sub that they're gonna do. So One Audio is like an SQ version of FI. So FI is a company, well-known company, especially in like SPL grounds, because they're making very good SPL subs. And they did an FI IB version of a subwoofer. So they made like, I think it was a 12-inch, 15 and an 18-inch. And I got one of those, secondhand, used. But like, you know, you always want to upgrade. So when the company announced that they're gonna go like One Audio, when they're gonna create a new division and they're gonna make like SQ proper subs, I told myself I have to have that sub. Doesn't matter how, I have to have it. And after a while, after getting a lot of help from Frank from Hepa King, from all of you that supported me on Patreon, on directly via PayPal. I'm gonna leave the links there as well. If you want, you can do that. After selling some of my stuff as well, I combined everything and I bought this one. So thank you very much, Am from Blade Ice. He is the distributor of One Audio in the UK and he got it for me. So I paid for it. It's not for free, but look how what a beauty this subwoofer is. So One Audio is kind of a newish company, but again, it's a division from FI, and they make different sizes of this. So this goes 12, 15, 18 inch. They will have a 24-inch one, which gonna be like our direct rival for stereo integrity, because they make a 24-inch sub. And if you saw, there's a very famous Audi which has like a 24-inch. I know we have one in the UK. I think one of Peter's ex-teammates, or now teammate, I don't know, he has it as well. And I'm not sure how many of these is being sold in the UK. So this is an 18-inch 2-ohm version that's gonna go in there. So the problem is now that I need to redo this thing, because let me show you. An 18-inch is not gonna fit in a 15-inch hole. So yeah, but the thing is, I don't know if I should install it like this, because I don't know about the mounting depth, or should I go like this, because this is a beauty of a motor. So let's talk about a little bit about the differences between the IB version 2, which I had, and this version 3. So apart from the fact that this is a bigger one, 18-inch instead of 15, it has what looks like a very similar cone, very similar surround. I want to say the same, but probably it's not. But the main difference is in the motor itself. So the IB2 had four stacks of massive slugs, and this one, by the looks of it, it has only one. However, I have no idea what's in there, because it's not a lot of information about these subs. And like, you can see the holes, you can see through the holes, you can see the actual coil, And I think it might be just for venting and having that X-Max, because this sub has 36 millimeters of X-Max, exactly the same like the old one. There is a version 2 of this, so IB3v3, which is, it has less X-Max and it's more geared towards SQ, so it's more SQ than this. It has much lower inductance, less X-Max, lighter cone, because this cone, if I remember correctly, it's like 400 grams or something. This one has a 10-inch spider, so a spider like most subwoofers, and it's just massive, but it looks so good. The coil is massive as well. And in the pictures, for me, it didn't look as great, but like in reality, it looks so good. I just love how it looks like. Massive thing. So let's talk about why do I need an 18-inch? Why I decided to go with this one. Like when I'm building my system now, I have status, Alpine status in the front. I have all the Alpine X type amplifiers. I will be putting some lithium in there. And then I thought, like, why the hell not? If you have an opportunity, just go full tilt, go all out. And the difference between, like in the UK, the difference between 15-inch and 18-inch is 20 pounds, which is like, it's literally nothing. So like, why not? Why not get the biggest one? Now, one of my concerns was the opening for the IB. So the opening that I have, when I did the testing, it was something like 750 square centimeters. And this subwoofer SD is 1200. So basically, the opening is about like 60% of the SD, which, I don't know, like for a 12-inch is perfect. For a 15-inch is good. For an 18-inch, we will see. I'm going to do some testing. I'm going to do impedance sweeps. One is going to be in there, and frequency response as well. And we will see if the opening affects it somewhat or not really. But I hope it's going to be fine, because I know that a lot of people run with much less SD, like 50 or 40% opening compared to the SD. So again, why do I need an 18-inch? Why not? In SQ system, the main thing is, one of the main things, apart from like install and correct positioning, is the headroom in everything. So you want to have as much headroom as you possibly can. And I like my lows. I like IB. I don't play rebased music, but I have a special playlist. It's called Below 30 Hertz. That I have all the songs that have bass notes below 30 hertz, or 25, 26, 24. Some of them go down to 15 hertz and stuff. And like, you need to remember that if you want a linear response of, let's say, a subwoofer or mid bass or whatever, if you, for example, take 100 hertz note, if you want to play one octave lower, which is like 50 hertz note, you need 4 times the X-Max compared to 100 hertz. So it's exactly the same if you go from 50 down to 25. You need much more excursion, you need much more cone area. And this has a lot of cone area and a lot of excursion. So I know that I will be able to have as much bass as I possibly can. Now, a lot of people say compare this to, not directly compare, but more like ask, which one is better, One Audio or Acoustic Elegance? Because we know that a lot of people are pushing Acoustic Elegance as probably the best IB sub, but these came into the block. So how do they compare? The main difference is that Acoustic Elegance is, in my opinion, is kind of pro audio subwoofer, which has very high sensitivity, very light cone, and doesn't need a lot of power. This will need much more power, so this is rated, and FI, especially the IB division, rates their subs in a bit different way. So usually you have like a thermal limit, but this one is rated at 1125 watts at 20 hertz, because it's like it's in free air. So you need to manage the main thing is not the thermal limit of the motor, but the excursion. So to maximize the excursion, you need 1125 watts, like on paper. So like a kilowatt, 1000 watts, just to have linear excursion. However, apart from the linear excursion that it has 36 mil, which is what, an inch and a half or something, this has 4 inches peak to peak. So 2 inches one way and 2 inches the other way, which is like ridiculous. Probably you could pump it like 2 kilowatts into it and it's still going to be fine. It's not going to be like linear, it's going to be past X-Max, but it's still going to be fine. What I have for this subwoofer is I will have an Alpine XA90M, which is rated at 900 watts, but it's like on the birth sheet it has 990, so it's gonna be very, very close. And like, I would prefer to have extra headroom. I tried to get a Alpine M2000, no, MRX M240, which could potentially do 2.5 kilowatts. I tried to get that amplifier, but I couldn't. So maybe in the future I'm gonna upgrade, but not for raw power, just for the headroom. So previously, what I have, the FI sub, that one was rated only 600 watts RMS, and this is rated twice as much. So with that amplifier, I had much more headroom, but now I'm not gonna have any headroom. My monoblock is gonna be maxed out, close to clipping, and I'm gonna show you how to, I'm gonna make a video how to set the amplifier up to clipping. And yeah, like, I don't know. The fact is, this subwoofer is going to be inverted, but I don't think I'm going to leave it like this. What I'm planning to do, so this is a manifold, and I'll have to cut it like diagonally, so it will be in reality something like this, like slanted, but much lower. So I know, what was it? Audi TT that the pizza did with... previously it had the FI sub that I had, and now it has Acoustic Elegance, and it has something like this, like a slanted, tilted manifold that's like aimed towards like the ceiling, because it will take a bit less space. And yeah, so again, coming back to Acoustic Elegance versus this one, so the differences is the, as I mentioned, the weight, the efficiency, but X-Max. So this, as I mentioned, has 36 millimeters of X-Max. Acoustic Elegance, all of them 12, 15, 18 inch, have 18 millimeters of X-Max. So potentially, like, if the cone area is kind of similar, I think Acoustic Elegance has slightly more cone area for an 18 inch because this has a bigger surround. So if you compare this one, like output wise, sheer output, we're not talking about quality, we're not talking about like impact, we're talking about pure quality, which is X-Max times SD, because that what gives the output. So if you compare sheer quality output, this is the same as 2 Acoustic Elegance 18-inch drivers, and it takes only half the space. So Acoustic Elegance is a bit shallower, might be a bit bigger, like size-wise, but like space saving wise, this is a much better option. And when I was choosing my front subwoofer, the Dayton one, I chose the Dayton in the front console, and I was talking to Adam, and he said basically, when you're choosing a subwoofer, like, it depends what you want. Do you want accuracy, or do you want to have, as he specifically said, do you want to have fun? So I'm all about the fun now. Like, I'm not gonna aim towards like pure SQ, because we know that Alpine Status, as good as they are, especially the tweeters, they're not gonna be pure SQ. Like the mid-ranges, yes, mid-bass, yes, tweeters, they sound good, but they're much better tweeters. So I'm gonna aim for the fun factor, especially with that Dayton sub in the front. So I need the fun. And in order to have fun, you need a lot of output. In order to have a lot of output, you need a lot of X-Max. So another difference between the version 2, the older one, and this newer one, F1 audio sub, is that this has shorting rings. In the previous specs for the FI IB, there was nowhere mentioned inductance, LE, because a lot of people were speculating, and I didn't measure, but I assume as well that the inductance was massive, probably like 3 or 4 millihenries or something. For this one, inductance is published is 1.6 millihenries and is achieved by having what did I mention, 2 or 3 shorting rings aluminum, so that reduces the inductance, extends like the inductance for a subwoofer, especially in this application. It does extend the upper range, the upper frequency, which for me doesn't matter because I have a front subwoofer. But what it does, it lowers the distortion of the lower frequencies. So if you have not a hatchback, but like a proper trunk that you can seal, and you make trunk IB, when you have like a baffle and then you have subwoofers in there. So for that, especially if you play the subwoofers like aimed towards the driver, that inductance, lower inductance, could give you upper bass up to probably, I don't know, 150 to 100 hertz. Like if you need that, you have that, especially in a short truck. Like if you like cut a bed and then you play everything into the cabin, then yes, then it was gonna affect. For me, due to location and everything, it doesn't play much above 50 hertz, about 55. So the upper range for me doesn't matter. The lower inductance is gonna lower the distortion and it's gonna sound much, much cleaner. So I think I said everything that I wanted. Yeah, basically what you did now, you were looking at this subwoofer for like 15 minutes from all angles, and it does look so pretty. And it is heavy. It is bloody heavy. So the plans for this subwoofer is that I need to, because I was waiting for the subwoofer to arrive so that I could start doing this, because without the subwoofer, without the measurements and everything, I cannot really start doing anything. So now when I have this subwoofer, I'm gonna remove everything, and this one, as I mentioned, I'm gonna try to cut it somehow slanted and make another baffle that goes on top. And at the same time, those flappy thingies, like flap, 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 flap. So a lot of people put deadening all over them. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rip them out and I'm gonna put this material, like hydrophobic mesh foam, whatever, and I'm gonna put it there instead of those flaps, so it's not gonna be flapping. And yeah, like my car is old. Yeah, don't look at this. My car is very old. It's all like so. Another thing that I might touch is that we were talking with few people about like cars and SKU and car audio and stuff, and there are 2 kinds of people. Person number 1 is, the first thing for him is the car itself, and car audio is secondary. For me personally, I don't care about the car. As long as it drives, so my car has no problems, it drives fine. As long as it drives, it's fine. I don't care how it looks like. What I care is about the audio, because I enjoy the audio. I spend much more time inside the car compared to the outside. So for me, it doesn't matter how it looks like. For me, what matters is the performance of the audio system in it. So comment below, which one are you? Do you care more about the car, or do you care more about the audio? And I think I'm gonna end it up here. I wanted to make it a short 5-minute video, but it ended up close to 20 minutes. But this subwoofer is so cool. I'm so happy. I am so happy to have it finally. And finally, I'm gonna be installing it. I will be measuring it. I will share all the data and everything, and it's gonna be so much fun. So yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.